Thanks for staying with us. Let's turn to the United States, where the Navy is working to recover the debris of a Chinese surveillance balloon that fell into the Atlantic Ocean after being shot down off the coast of South Carolina over the weekend. According to the commander of the North American Aerospace Defense Command, General Glenn Van Heck, the balloon had been flying over North America before it was shot down into U.S. territorial waters. General Van Heck says the Navy is currently conducting recovery operations with the U.S. Coast Guard, assisting in securing the area and maintaining public safety. This incident has further strained relations between the U.S. and China, with Washington canceling Secretary of State Antony Blinken's planned visit to Beijing after the discovery of the craft. Beijing says the airship was used for meteorological research and was blown off course because of bad weather and its limited steering capabilities.
Took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it, and we'll have more to report on this a little later. I told them to shoot it down.
On Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
But the recommendation
They said to me, let's wait till the safest place to do it.
And for more on this developing report, Global Affairs analyst Calvin Dark joins me on the news. Good to have you join us.
Good to be here.
So this is not the first time that Chinese balloons have crossed into U.S. airspace, and security analysts have said, look, it is not going to be the last. So one is wondering why there was so much frenzy and hysteria about this particular incident.
Yes, there was hysteria all across the United States. My family, I'm originally from North Carolina, and there were people who were tracking it as it flew over North Carolina before it was shot down. I think the reason is that, you mentioned the other incidents where this happened. I think there were 3, according to news reports, that happened during the Trump administration that even Trump officials are saying they weren't aware of. So I think the reason why this is such a big deal is we not only had this very visible spy balloon flying across the country, but the revelation that there were more that no one even knew about, apparently, even the former president's administration.
But why? Because we understand that even during former President Trump's administration, about 3 Chinese balloons flew into the U.S. airspace. Why have this been unchecked before now, and how much of a security threat is China to the U.S. homeland?
Well, I think that's a very good question. And, there's been a lot of political criticism from Republicans against Joe Biden. That he can't win with the Republicans because for a while they said, why isn't he shooting it down? And then when it was shot down, they said, well, why didn't he do it earlier? That comes from their political motives. But what is true, kind of what you were saying, is the Biden administration needs to explain to the American people what happened. What did they find with the debris that they were able to recapture? What was the spy balloon's purpose? And probably more importantly, what new systems or mechanisms have been put in place so that this doesn't happen again, and so that it stopped before it goes over the United States. So I think those are very valid questions that the Biden administration will have to answer.
And we know that the Secretary of State have postponed his trip to China. Should he have postponed that trip? And could this particular incident become a watershed moment in a superpower rivalry between China and U.S.?
Yes, my answer to that is 2 parts. One, yes, he had no choice but to cancel it because at the time we didn't know exactly what this spy balloon was trying to do over the United States. The second answer is, with the Chinese response, at first it was a civilian weather balloon that had gone off track, and of course, then after it was shot down, they said the United States overreacted. What that says to me is nothing is a mistake. Nothing is an accident. This happened because China wanted it to happen. It was a strategic move. Now, also, the timing was strategic because they knew the importance of this visit by Secretary of State Blinken to China. Now, what the exact motive was, I don't know yet, but I do believe there was a purpose behind it and that it was to somehow delay the visit of Secretary Blinken.
Global Affairs analyst Calvin Dark, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.